Howdy folks, this is Feanor, and thank you for spending time together with me on the internet. Today we're going to be taking a look at one of my favorite games of all time. I believe it's the game I've put the most hours into according to Steam. It unfortunately is not play to earn, but I like it nonetheless. It is Europa Universalis IV by Paradox, and is basically a world history simulator, for lack of a better term. I have all of the expansions with the sole exception of Dharma. So to start out, basically I can zoom out here and you can play any country anywhere in the whole world, from Indians in Central America, North America, to European countries. The game starts in the year 1444 AD, and it's got pretty much everyone in the world. So you got Ming Dynasty over here in China. You've got Bahamanis and Vijayanagar in India, Timurids, Uzbeks, Muscovy, which later turns into Russia, Poland, Lithuania. France is looking a little ragged at this point in history, but most of these smaller principalities are essentially vassals of them. And as you'll see when we get into the game, it's got all sorts of diplomacy, warfare options, all sorts of stuff. So for this first play video, we're going to be picking Portugal, I think. The reason I'm selecting them is that they are kind of a good newbie nation. I've played pretty much all of the large nations in the game at one point, even some of the ones down in Africa. And Portugal is just very newbie friendly for a variety of reasons. You can basically make nice with your large and powerful neighbor Castile, and the rest of Europe doesn't really have an interest in attacking you or taking your land at the game start, so you have plenty of time to kind of consolidate, build up your power base, and can choose to selectively get involved on the continent or in North Africa, kind of wherever you choose. And it really isn't very difficult, and they have a number of powerful national ideas, which are essentially like bonuses that different nations get that promote their exploration and colonization. They're not labeled, even if we go away in, but Madeira and the Azores are Portuguese holdings at this point in time, and they are well placed to be the first colonial nation to expand into the Caribbean, North America, and South America. So we will go ahead and select them and fire it up. We're just going to play normal mode in case I feel the need to use console commands to adjust anything, although I'm going to try to play it the same way Iron Man would be. I'm not going to go in thinking I'm going to be using cheats or anything like that. So we'll play it close to the chest like a normal game, but I am going to leave the possibility of using console in case I want to demonstrate particular things or need to set up certain situations. So when you start a game, it's got a little bit of history there on where your nation is at this point in time, and a religion tab where it talks about the religion that your nation follows. We are Catholic, obviously. Little thing about the government type. We're a kingdom as opposed to a despotism or a republic or some of the other formats that are out there. And kind of general environment doesn't mean the topography of your country. It's political environment, I guess. And these are all the various DLCs and things like that. So, yeah, okay, so it's been a while since I've played EU4. Let me see if I can, actually, I wish I could disable my Discord notifications. I'm not think that's it. So with luck, that'll get rid of those pop-ups. Sorry about that. Okay, so to start, a basic overview of what we're looking at here. There are tons of menus and nested menus, sub-menus, tons of different map modes. It's a very almost overwhelming game for a new person to get into. It's a very steep learning curve. So we'll go over some of the basics here. I'll try not to information overload you and really start playing, and we can kind of look at new concepts as they come up. So this is our flag. If we click that, this opens the main screen. In the main screen, each of these buttons at the top is an important part of your country's administration. Inside the court, it shows you the stats of your ruler. The stats of the ruler come in administrative, diplomatic, and military flavors, and they range from 0 to 6 each. The higher the better. You've also got an heir. He also has his stats. Both the ruler and the heir can develop traits, up to 3 traits per ruler that give bonuses. Our heir is an expansionist, which means he is good at increasing the rate at which colonies develop. This is the strength of his claim. Basically, the stronger the claim on the throne, the more legitimate your heir is, the better. That's the age of the heir. This button will let you abdicate if you have an heir ready to take over the throne, or disinherit if used on an heir. These 3 slots are for your administrative, diplomatic, and military advisors. You can hire one of each. They each do different things. As you see, this guy gives us some prestige. This guy gives us production efficiency, which means he improves the amount of goods and manufactories and sort of stuff that each one of our provinces make. This guy helps control inflation, and you can fire them to get new guys for a slight gold cost. And we've got Diplo and military advisors, and they come with bonuses from 1 to 3. So this is the amount of administrative, diplomatic, and military power that you get on a monthly basis. That is reflected up here. That's the amount you have stockpiled. They do have a cap, and you can tooltip pretty much anything in the game and get a pretty good explanation of, you know, where it's coming from, what it does, that sort of thing. The primary use of your PowerPoints is to learn technologies, which we'll come to in a second, core new territory that you conquer, things like that. I already realize this is going to be a pretty horrible information overload, so I think I'm just going to set some things up and start playing. So this is our treasury and ducats, which is gold. This is our national manpower, national sailor power, the stability of the country, how much corruption we have, how prestigious we are, and how legitimate our government is. And this is power projection, which is our ability to project our power outside our borders, basically. So we've got enough income. We're making 4.5 ducats a turn where we can afford 1 or 2 advisors. I'm going to go ahead and grab this improve relations guy. At the beginning, you probably want to stick with +1 advisors because, as you can see, the cost of a +3 advisor monthly would basically be all of our money, whereas a +1 guy is much more reasonable. So we will grab him, and we're not going to grab him right now because I don't know that we'll be fighting a land battle in the near future, but it's good that we have him because we could grab him if we wanted to, and we do think that we're going to have a land fight. For these pop-ups here are basically important things that you should deal with, and this is a real-time pausable strategy game. So basically when we unpause it, you will see days and months and then years start to tick by one at a time. So I'm going to up the speed to 3 to start. And this button here, the first thing to deal with is we need at least 1 rival to not have a penalty to our power projection and score. So we start with the following countries as enemies. Morocco, and if you scroll out, you can kind of see that it highlights the country for you. Morocco, Tunis, and Tlemcen. So pretty much the Barbary pirates of North Africa do not like us and are enemies with us. Looks like we've got a truce with Grenada, which is this little Muslim state holding on in the south of Spain. The Reconquista has not been completed yet at this point in time, and it looks like we have an alliance with England. Interestingly enough, just as a historical tidbit, Portugal and England are still allied today, and the alliance between the two countries is, I think by far, the longest lasting political alliance in all of European history. So, we're 580 years on in real life from the start date of here, and that alliance is still going strong. Pretty impressive. So we know who our enemies are, and our only ally is England, and they are pretty far away, so we probably want to ally with either Castile or Aragon. So let's click on a province of Castile, open the diplomacy thing. They are enemies of our enemies, rivals with their neighbor Aragon, and France. Aragon is enemies with the Ottoman Turks, Lithuania, and Castile. And the only difference being that they don't like Austria, which is over there, while Castile does not like France. Castile usually has the upper hand over Aragon, although Aragon's navy can be superior, and we share a big old land border with Castile on all of our provinces. So I'm going to go ahead and... we can also, when we click on a province, see that they are friendly towards us, and we're historical friends, and we share the same religion. Aragon is neutral toward us. We're not historical friends. Aragon starts with a junior partner in a personal union of Naples. So basically, Aragon and Naples are ruled by the same king, although still treated as technically two separate countries. So because of that, we're going to go ahead and diplomacy, alliance, offer an alliance to Castile. They accept. Excellent. So now that we have a powerful ally, many times stronger than us, I'm going to take a look at... Portugal also owns Ceuta, this one province in northern Africa, next to Tangiers and Fez and some lands of Morocco. Morocco has a bunch of little vassals: Marrakesh, Tafilalt, and Sousse. So Morocco is overlord over these three powers to its south. Tlemcen is alone. Tunis is guaranteeing the independence of Fezzan. So, I think we are going to go ahead and rival Morocco to start. Actually, we may as well rival all three. They view us as rivals, so we will rival them back. So we're going to rival all of the Islamic pirates of northern Africa. And as you see, when we handled that thing, the tag disappeared. So this thing is just warning us that we've got some unrest in Ceuta. That's fine. We'll deal with a rebellion if it pops up. This is telling us we have a free advisor slot. We can't really afford more than the one. We don't really want any of the administrative ones at the moment. And the military one, he's good, he's worth getting, but we don't want to really pay for it right now. So we'll just let that be. And we're in a truce with Grenada for 5 years. I assume Castile also is. Yep. His ends a little earlier than ours. And this is telling you in which countries that are in your sphere of knowledge and influence are having succession issues, basically low prestige, problems with that, as well as the age of their king and what's going on. So that can be helpful if you're trying to do diplomatic expansion via royal marriages and creating personal unions. So back to our country, what else do we need to do? Check out our government. Yeah, we're all Portuguese pretty bit. We've got a little bit of Moroccan people in our country because we are occupying Ceuta. Nothing there at the moment. Diplomacy is normal. We may want to grab another alliance. Maybe Austria. They wouldn't take it, and they might be persuadable in the future, but they're kind of far away. That's one of the reasons they're not interested. France is not happy with us because we're allied to their rival Castile. They won't do it. Who else is maybe worthy? I think that's really it. We would like to have Austria because Austria is also rivals with Aragon. So I think what we're going to do with our diplomats to start is we're going to send one to begin improving relations with the Papal State. Pope is pretty important. There's a whole system here as to who controls cardinals, who controls the Pope himself, different stuff you can spend Pope points on to do, yada, yada, yada. So we're going to improve relations with the Papal State, and we're also going to improve relations with Austria, looking to hopefully ally them in the relatively near future. How does Austria feel about France? They don't really care. Who are France's enemies? England and Burgundy. Okay. So that is basically it. I'm going to check my trade here. Yeah, this is one of the various world map modes. You can show terrain, so you can see where the forests are, see where the mountains are, rivers, that sort of thing. This is the one that's most commonly used as political, where all the provinces under the control of a particular country are shaded and named. You've got a trade map, which basically shows how trade flows across the entire world. We don't know much about the whole world yet at this point in history, but once we open up, the Caribbean, we'll be able to see how trade flows from where into where. For our trade, basically, Sevilla is the most important node, and we are... Okay, so we're not collecting anywhere, are we? Oh, we are. Okay, yeah, you automatically collect in the node closest to your capital province, or the node that your capital province is a part of. And Portugal is part of the Sevilla trading node, despite us being two different countries. As you can see, Grenada is part of that node too, as is this little bit around opposite of Gibraltar in northern Africa. So since this is where we're making money through trade, we want to pump up our value there, and we've got one merchant that starts here, forwarding power along this arrow into Sevilla, and we've got one merchant here, forwarding power along that route into Sevilla. So that's exactly how we want them. We've got one army here, the Guardia Real, 15,000 men and 11,000 infantry and 4,000 cavalry ready to go. They're doing pretty well. Do we have any generals? We've got a pretty good general. They come with pips in the various ratings. Fire is how good they are in terms of using firepower. Shock is melee combat. Maneuver is speed and withdrawing injured battalions, getting in fresh ones. And this is their ability to siege. Cannons haven't even been discovered at this point in time, so sieging is quite difficult. And the Earl of Avranches is quite good at both fire, shock, and maneuver. We're not going to attach him to the army just yet because every day he spends attached gives him the possibility of getting wounded. So we will leave it leave it leaderless for now. And then we've also got 2 navies. It looks like we've got 1 fleet of light trade ships and 1 fleet with heavy warships and troop transports. So I don't think we are going to be using our war fleet just yet. So to save some money, we're going to mothball it. Basically cuts the cost of it by about half, but basically sets the ships so that they're going to need several months to a year to prepare before they're any good for fighting. So we'll mothball our war fleet. Do we have any? Yeah, we do have a admiral as well, Diogo Gomez, and they have the same rating types as generals do, and he also is quite good. So we will take the Armada de Lisboa, pop our admiral on there, and set them to a trade mission to protect trade in Sevilla. So that will make us a minor profit. We could consider patrolling and protecting trade in Safi. That might even be better because that basically means that we would suck more trade out of the Morocco and its vassals and send it on to Sevilla. So that would make us slightly more profit than protecting Sevilla. And it has the double benefit of denying the profit from that trade to our enemies. Tunis is also an example. We would lose a little bit of money going there. And our ships, I don't know if our ships can even go there without getting damaged. That might be, I guess we can do it, so. Okay, I guess we have access to all of the Mediterranean without going out of supply range. So we'll take this and set them to protecting the trade in Safi. That is about it. So we're going to go ahead and unpause the game and get it started. As you see, the stuff is ticking away there. I've got a number of auto pauses set up. Basically, whenever a diplomat returns from an assignment, it will pause the game so I can reassign him and not lose time. New cardinal there. And for our 3rd diplomat, I'm going to manually control the first 2 that I sent out. And I think I might send him... So there, you can automate your diplomacy if you like, and send it to neighboring countries, subjects that you control, people who are outraged with you, allies, or people who threaten you. I think I'm going to set it to neighboring countries, and that'll just kind of rotate it through all of the countries in my general sphere of influence, which is probably the Iberian Peninsula here, and as well as everything in what will eventually become modern-day France. So Brittany, these little subsidiary countries of France, Provence, Orléans, Armagnac, Auvergne, places like that. So we will let him go and start it away. Got an economy screen here. We can see how much we're spending on a variety of stuff, how much we're earning on a variety of stuff, and our monthly balance. So we're not making so much money. One thing that I'm also going to do, I don't expect to go to war with Castile anytime soon. And you can see by that little castle icon, there's a fortification in Évora. And I'm going to actually destroy it rather than mothballing it, because I don't think we'll ever be at war there. And it doesn't, a castle in the grasslands isn't the best place for it either. Typically you want to build castles in places like mountainous regions or, hilly. As you can see, the dice roll for attacker there gives a -1, so it'd be better if the castle was in Beira rather than Évora. Forests are also okay. And hills are also okay. So we're going to go ahead and destroy that castle. That'll save us 1 ducat a month or so. We've got Casus Belli. Casus Belli means cause for war. And basically in this game, when you declare war on someone, you suffer a pretty big penalty if you don't have a legitimately accepted casus belli in the eyes of the international community. So when we rivaled Northern Africa, we gained the humiliate rival casus belli against Morocco, Tlemcen, and Tunis. Different casus bellis also give you different options when ending the war. Like with humiliate rival, you can't really take their territory, I don't think. You can just, you know, humiliate them, make them pay you financially, do stuff like that. So, what happened here? Golden Bull. Interesting. I think this is a new feature. I don't know if it's new or if I just never really paid attention to it. It looks like it's something that the papal controller, who is currently the papal state, can pick that gives bonuses to all Christian nations. So this gives us a slight benefit in reducing the cost of improving our provinces, and also makes us a little more tolerant of heathens. We'll get a little benefit from that because Ceuta may be Islamic. Yeah, they're Sunni Islamic down in Ceuta, whereas all of the provinces in Europe are Roman Catholic at this point. So that will have a little bit of a benefit for us. There's also a religion world map, so as you can see, all of Europe is Catholic at this point. It looks like the Hussite heresy is going on in Bohemia right now. And northern Africa is pretty much all Islamic, various flavors. Most of it's Sunni, but there's some Abadi here. And the striped patterns indicate where the religion of the state that controls it are at odds with the religion of the people that inhabit it. So in this case, this is the former Byzantine Empire, which is now largely controlled. This is, modern day Greece down here, which is controlled by the Ottoman Turks now. And the Ottomans are Islamic, but in the province, they're all East Orthodox Christians. So that means that this area is going to be a source of unrest for the Ottomans, reduced taxes, all sorts of negative stuff. Got a diplomatic map mode, so you can see we're green, the people we're allied with are in blue, outright enemies I think show up as red. There's a colonial map mode region, so technically we can colonize Arguin here, which is coastal desert in Western Africa. And that's really the only uncolonized area we know about. We know that there's some islands here, but we haven't explored them well enough to even send a colonist. We know that, I believe it's Spain that controls that, so we're aware of the existence of these islands, but not quite sure who controls it, which is a little odd because Castile is our ally. This is the imperial mode, referring to the Holy Roman Empire. Austria is currently the emperor here. Holy Roman Empire, there's the old joke that it's neither holy nor Roman nor an empire, and that is very true. And it's basically a loose confederation of Germanic and Northern Italian city-states that kind of band together for mutual protection. So they don't really operate as a bloc. They all do have their own interests, but they will tend to band together against outside oppressors. So, if France were to start conquering some of the princes in the Holy Roman Empire, they might get the smackdown laid on them by a bunch of little Germanic and Italian principalities. So, the stuff that pops up here is stuff that is happening, but we don't have it set as important enough to need a pop-up to occur on the screen. So, France rivaled Austria, okay. They still won't ally with us, so we will let the game run a little bit more. We'll actually turn up the speed to 4 because we don't have anything real important going on at this point. This popped up. Castile wants to enter into a royal marriage with us. That's good. Improves our yearly legitimacy, improves our relations, and gives us a chance to get a new heir in case ours dies. So we will accept that. Unpause again. Okay, yeah, Marrakesh basically raided our coasts here and took a bunch of gold and killed a bunch of our sailors. What I'm gonna do is, well, I don't know why. I mean, I've got them on protect trade. I guess it's that they hadn't been there recently. I don't know why they were allowed to raid our coasts like that when we've got a navy doing active patrol in the area, basically. So, oh well. This is an important kind of worldwide event. Basically, the Holy Roman Empire has Northern Italy as member states, but their relationship, they've kind of been drifting away for a number of years now. And unless the emperor does something to kind of rein them in, they will permanently leave the Holy Roman Empire within about 50 years or so. Trade League expanded, and yeah, our coasts are getting raided, man. Yikes, causing devastation in our capital province, which is not good. So let me maybe reassign these guys mission. How do they do it? I'm gonna break out one of our warships. I think I'm gonna have to manually set him on a patrol there. If I can remember how to do that. Oh, and we don't want, yeah, we mothballed it, so we've got to wait a couple months for it to kind of get ready again. Got some new cardinals. England wants a royal marriage. We'll go ahead and take that too. Cardinals. Okay, so now we're going to send out our warship and tell them to patrol back and forth there. How do I set them up? Yeah, start patrolling. Okay, so now he's just gonna zoom back and forth between these two sea provinces, which should block further pirate raids from happening to us. This is an important thing, worldwide event. England starts in control of significant parts of France. They've got basically Normandy occupied, as well as Guyenne down there in the south. And yeah, the Treaty of Tours happened only a couple months before the start of the game, and England was supposed to release the province of Maine to France. RNG decided they are going to do that. Sometimes they decline to do so, and that can precipitate an almost immediate war between England and France. But in this game they gave it up, so there will be peace for now, and adds a truce with England as well. Moldavia has gotten a new ruler, a famous person from history, Voivode Roman Musat. Earning a little bit of gold. We've basically doubled our old gold income, or ducat income rather, by destroying that one castle and mothballing most of our war fleet. This is good. Morocco declared war on their neighbor, Tlemcen, trying to reconquer some lands that have been occupied by Tlemcen in a previous conflict. So they're going to fight. Let me see who they allied with. Grenada and Tunis. And these guys, Tugurt and Jared. Okay, so Tlemcen has allied with these two countries. Morocco has allied with Tunis. Oh, pardon me on that noise there. I forgot to disable a script here. Mute that guy. How do I mute that tab? There we go. So because of their alliances, we're not really at a position to take advantage of this war. However, if it goes on for a long time, we might be. So we will pay attention to what is going on in North Africa as time continues to pass. We're doing okay with trade. It looks like about a third of our income comes from trade. What do our provinces make? Provinces have tax, productivity, and manpower that they give you. Morocco has made a claim on southern Portugal, so that is indicative that they have an intent to eventually attack us there. That's okay though, because we are allied with Castile and England, so if they do attack us, they will probably bite off more than they can chew. This is technology. Basically, you can only learn technology every 12 years or something. You're able to get one. Okay, so I guess we start with a ruler who is too young to actually rule. So we have technically a regent council ruling our nation right now, but our heir is 14, and age 15 is when they're able to take over. So this little pop-up is saying that basically 1 year from now, our ruler will ascend to the throne. We looked at tech recently. National ideas, basically as you earn techs, you unlock national ideas, which are kind of selectable grouped powers. They're grouped into administrative, diplomatic, and military, and they each have, you know, a number of benefits to them. And you pay out of your admin, diplomatic, and military points to both learn technologies and develop national ideas. These are some things we should have looked at the start also. Major nations have customized mission trees, which basically give you bonuses and help guide your nation towards goals that they had historically. You don't have to follow them, but you can, and you do get benefits. So what are our initial missions? So we want to discover West Africa and have one available colonist. And if we do that, we gain some prestige, and the development speed of new colonies will increase for 15 years. So keep an eye on that. Building to the force limit means you're only allowed to maintain a standing army that is only so big based on the development of the provinces you control. We're at 15 out of 20, and one of our missions is to build to 100% of our force limit. So we may want to consider doing that just to open up the next mission here. Do we really want to do these? Yeah, that line of mission trees is basically military conquest related. Don't really need to do it quite yet. trustworthy allies, 2 nations with a high opinion of us. That should fulfill itself pretty quickly. England is already almost there, and Castile is already past the point we would need to fire that. So basically, once England likes us a little more, we'll be able to complete that mission. And that's another relatively short straight line thing. This is about earning income and developing your country. And what is this? Competitive advantage. Okay, so this is basically we want to pump up our navy so that have a more powerful naval presence than the Berber pirates. And if we do so, it will unlock a mission for us to conquer Tangiers, which is this province of Morocco right next to Ceuta. So this one we may want to do sooner rather than later because it will give us a casus belli of taking Tangiers. We're also pretty close to our naval force limit. So what are we looking at here? 11. I think we're going to expand our trade fleet by 3 light ships to complete that mission. So we will build one in Porto, one in Lisboa, and one in Coimbra. That spent almost all of our money, and will take almost a year to build those ships. Oh, one other thing we can look at is decisions and policies. We do not have any of them available right now, but basically national decisions are things you can decide to do. They have prerequisites you can see there, and that's what happens if you enact a decision. Like this one that we're looking at is officially demoting the Pope in our country from being the head of Catholicism and making the king the head of the Catholics in our country. That's similar to what Henry VIII did in England with the establishment of the Anglican Church. This is basically creating the Jesuit order. And yeah, as you see, we need Admin Tech 10 to do that, and we start at Admin Tech 3. I think it's about 12 years per tech, so 84 years in the future, quite a ways out. I have it enabled so that when any of these become available, I'll get a pop-up letting me know about it. This is national stability and expansion. We're good there. For now, we may want to look at investing a little bit of admin and stability, but only after our 14-year-old becomes king proper, because that's giving us, as you can see there, 25% malice to the cost of doing so. Everyone's religious except for Ceuta. Everyone's following our religion, rather, except for Ceuta, and we don't have enough missionary strength at the time being to convert it at all, so we can't do anything there. And this is our military breakdown. All looks good. And these are the national estates. An estate is basically a series of institutions that has power in your country. So for us, we have 3 of them currently. It's the clergy, the nobility, and the burghers. They all like us well enough. We're going to set an agenda here. Setting an agenda raises the loyalty of the estates, and basically each one of the estates makes a proposal to us. So let's look at this. Okay, so the clergy want us to increase the base tax in one of our provinces. The nobility want us to befriend Aragon, which we don't really want to do because they are rivals of our buddies Castile. And the burghers want us to increase our trade power in this Moroccan node. Hard to do without taking some land there, and we won't be able to take any land in the near future. So I guess we'll go ahead and accept the proposal of the clergy. Let me see about Beja. Beja is there. Okay, so the cost isn't too bad there. So yeah, we'll go ahead and accept the proposal of the clergy. And I think we're going to fire it off right now. So we're going to spend almost 100 admin power of our 174 to increase the tax, increase the tax. And the next day, there we go, completed the state agenda. And then we're also going to take the opportunity to seize some crown land. You can see that the crown controls about 30% of the land in our country. Clergy's got about 19%, nobility 39%, and the burghers about 9%. So basically seizing crown land will kind of piss off all 3 of the estates in your country, but it will increase your own economic power and well-being. And yeah, they'll lose some loyalty, but because they're all above 50%, no rebellions will actually happen. So this will, you know, take 5% of the land for the crown. That's who will suffer for it. Boom. So now we've increased the crown land share of us to about 35%, which will increase our money and all that other good stuff. Just letting some time pass. Building our treasury back up after paying for those ships. Okay, so there are special events that pop up from time to time, and it looks like the nobility. Okay, so in return for a flat upfront payment of about 70 ducats, we would be agreeing to give up 15% of our national tax modifier annually, and we'd also get additional papal influence. It'd also piss off the clergy and make the nobility happy. If we look at our estates, the clergy are the happiest because we just did their proposal. So we could do that, or we could decline and gain 1 stability and piss off our nobles even more. I think that we're going to take the stability rather than the papal influence. What can you do with the papal influence again? Yeah, we don't. I'm going to go ahead and decline that and take the stability. Stability ranges from -3 to +3, and as you can see, we get all of those bonuses in green from having positive stability, which is very, very good. So, yeah, nobility are pissed off at the moment, so they're hurting our national manpower, causing unrest, and making our army more expensive to maintain. But everyone's kind of opinion of you normalizes on a monthly basis. So they will get over being upset with us soon enough. We're focusing on our diplomatic power because we want to kind of rush to our first group of national ideas. We're going to take exploration. That's one of Portugal's strengths, and they're in an excellent position to be the first colonizers of the New World, so that's what we're working toward. Here's another thing that came up. So this is a particular historical thing, the doctrine of particular judgment. We're probably going to remain Catholic as Portugal. Basically, the Holy Roman Empire is the ones who historically turned Protestant, while Spain, Portugal, France remain Catholic. So I think we're going to stick with Catholicism, and basically it's reform desire. Okay, so basically when this gets high enough and the game date is late enough, the Reformation triggers. We're in no rush to get the Reformation because we're not going to convert and it's just going to cause problems for us. So despite the fact that we would gain a little bit of personal papal influence by picking this, would also contribute to the reform desire for Catholicism. So let's be good Catholics and take a little bit of unrest in our province of Beja in exchange for reducing the reform desire instead. Our ships are almost complete, meaning it's been almost a year since we've started the game. And we're gonna tell... Okay, so we got a cardinal. So great, we have one active cardinal now. If we open up the papacy, you can sort by the number of active cardinals. Cardinals tend to be awarded to the largest, most powerful, and most prosperous states. So Aragon has 2, England has 2, France has 2, and then a bunch of countries have 1, and there we are on the list. We've got 1, and this is the amount of papal influence we have, and the chance at becoming the next controller of the Curia, and papal treasury, some other stuff. So basically, you just build up the papal influence, and then you can expend it, or spend it rather, on these various buffs. So great that we have a cardinal that will help us earn papal influence over time. And we're going to take our trade protecting fleet and pop it into port at Beja. And we're going to take our new ships, have them join up. Okay, that's our heir reaching his age of majority and becoming our king. So now if we look here, we've got him and he's an expansionist, so he's good at colonization, which is what we're focusing toward. So there's our last ship. It took a few more days to build. We'll get them in there too. Grab them, put them together, and then send them back to stealing trade from our Islamic neighbors. This popped up because we've completed a mission. That's that competitive advantage one, where our navy is now the largest it can be without paying extra penalties. So when we complete this mission, we're going to gain 50 Diplo power and 15 Navy tradition. Army and Navy tradition make it easier for you to hire higher quality generals and admirals. So we'll go ahead and do that. And then for Tangiers, oh, we need to actually own Tangiers for this mission. Okay. So do we have a claim on it? We do not. Okay. Gonna pull off our automatic Diplo guy from Castile. And when he gets home, I'm gonna put him to work on fabricating a claim on Tangiers. So he is now building a spy network. When our spy network reaches a certain size, we can use that to fabricate a claim. So what happened here? Okay, it looks like Grenada is having a little bit of familial strife, and we've got some pretender to the Grenadan throne there. So we'll see if Grenada can beat off the rebel, or if the rebel will conquer Grenada and become the new king. Poland. Basically, this is pretty impactful. The King of Poland was killed at the Battle of Varna against the Ottoman Turks shortly before the start of the game, and it kind of left them rudderless, and they can go a couple different ways with who's going to be their next king. With this outcome, basically Poland and Lithuania become ruled by the same king, and that is the foundation of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, which is a political entity represented by a union between these two countries that comes into play 100 or 200 years from the game's start. So they are sticking with history there. One neat thing about EU4 is that it doesn't always stick with the way history actually goes. Like, remember when I talked about that ceding of Maine to France? Sometimes England decides not to do that, so the 100 Years' War starts significantly earlier than it does. With the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth event that just popped up, sometimes they don't want a Jagiellon as their next king, in which case they don't form a personal union and just remain close allies, which sets up Lithuania for potential expansion under its own power into the Crimea, or the remnants of the Golden Horde here that are, they're still hanging around, or even fighting Muscovy or the Merchant Republic of Novgorod. Novgorod looks like it's in the process of getting its butt kicked by Muscovy, which is a pretty standard first move for Muscovy. I'm actually going to go ahead and put our general in put our general in there and have him drill the army. Hopefully he doesn't have a training accident and die, and we don't lose our pretty nice starting general. Okay, so this is an event about our current ruler. I guess I was only 6 years old when I became King of Portugal. And the Duke of Coimbra was the regent for the first 6 years of my reign. And he's been pretty good, and so what's going on here? So they're trying to frame him, saying he wasn't a good regent, and basically his political enemies are trying to slander him to me. So I can decide to either agree that he was traitorous, in which case I gain 1 stability, or choose to place our trust in our dear friend and mentor. And that would give us a bonus that lasts until I die personally, which is 10% increased trade and tax. I think I'm going to go with that one, because that's a pretty nice bonus, and we're already at +1 stability. We don't really have any problems with it, so although +2 stability would double those bonuses. Tough call, but let's go with placing our trust in our dear friend and mentor. These empty bars to the left of the unit cards is how well drilled our army is. As you can see, it ticked up from 1.66 to 2.49. The better the drill, the better they perform in combat. Our treasury is recovering nicely. We're up to 2.2 ducats a month in surplus. Okay, it looks like we have maxed our ability, or maxed the relationship improvement with both Austria and the Papal State. Now that we have a high reputation with the Papal State, let's see how much we gain. Yeah, okay, so every Catholic country gains 0.5 papal influence per year. We gain an additional 0.5 per year because we control a cardinal, and then that value is multiplied by, or we get a bonus of 62.5% because the Pope likes us pretty well. So instead of getting the 1 per year we would normally get, we get 1.62. And then again, once we get 50 papal influence, we can convert it into a powerful buff. So, goody goody. Well, I think the next thing that'll happen is our diplomat will return home. Then we're going to send this guy basically to improve relations with our other ally, England. This free diplomat we are going to use on neighboring countries. and have him be automatic. So he's going back to what the other automatic dude was doing and finishing improving our relationship with Castile. Yeah, Portugal has a pretty peaceful and low stress early game. Basically, the game plan is to just bide your time, improve your economy, get a powerful navy, and be ready to colonize. So we got another event here. Looks like it's burghers versus the clergy. Let's take a look at how they feel about us. The clergy like us more than the burghers do. And we get 30 ducats by forcing... Okay, so basically we find the burghers, which gets us some money, pleases the clergy, pisses off the burghers, and also increases the influence of the clergy while decreasing the influence of the burghers. And clergy influence our tax, while burghers influence our trade. So if we go to economy, we can see that taxation is almost twice as important to our economy as trade. So, plus we get the 30 ducats. So, yeah, we're going to find those obstinate burghers. Pay up, buddies. Got some new cardinals. Okay, I think our spy network in Morocco is... Okay, this is good. It looks like, well, I don't know who's winning that war. Who is winning? I guess technically Morocco is winning it, but Morocco has both their southern vassal states completely occupied, although it's the capital of Tlemcen. I don't even know where their capital is. Where is it? I guess this is their capital. Yeah, so Tlemcen's had its capital occupied, which is not good for them. So we also have a mission that we fulfilled. The Trustworthy Allies one, because we've got 2 people that like us now. So, okay. We don't need to use that right now, because the benefits from doing some missions only last for a particular period of time. And we don't need any diplomatic reputation at the moment. It's good enough. And Castile and England, we don't plan on betraying them, so they'll pretty much always like us. So even though we can complete that mission, we're not going to, because the next one we need to have subject states, which won't happen until we have colonized part of the Americas. Oh, and I did want to look at my spy network here in Morocco. It's big enough now to fabricate a claim. So we're going to fabricate a claim on Tangiers. So now we have conquest casus belli against Morocco. We'll recall our spy and see about declaring war on them, can we? Okay, if we were to declare war on them, we would go to war with Morocco, Grenada, Morocco's 3 subject states, and Tunis. So that is a pretty powerful alliance. As you see, they have about 106,000 total troops and an army more than double our size. So England is not interested in joining as an ally. Castile would if we promise them land. So if we say, hey, you can have some land, then they would join us. And if we call them into the fight, then it's about equal between us. So something to think about. I think I'm going to wait for Castile to reconquer Grenada. Is Grenada allied? Okay. So Castile is probably going to go to war with Grenada when their truce expires in about 4 years. and then what we'll probably try to do is join that war, making Castile happy with us, and then hopefully getting some territory here in North Africa as a reward for our participation. So we're going to assign our second diplomat to please people who we find threatening. And that is France at the moment. Okay, so looks like my king got married here, queen consort, and it looks like to a local person from Porto, so that's going to give Porto a modifier that is both, it's got both positives and drawbacks. It makes them a lot less likely to rebel, but it makes it difficult to convert them if they are following a different religion, and also increases their autonomy, but not as much as it decreases every month. So, okay. This is our heir to the throne, and ruler's attributes go from 0 to 6. So we're 322, but our heir is a whopping 662. So he's an awesome administrator, an awesome diplomat, and a okay military guy. So Henrique is a pretty powerful heir, and yeah, I'm going to look forward to him taking over when I get old. I probably will even abdicate in his favor because he's that much better than me. Although I do have the expansionist trait, so I guess we'll see. My queen consort doesn't have really good stats, but she's got, she's industrious, so she is always kind of working to maximize output and revenue, and yeah, seems like a smart lady. Good. So we're continuing to drill our troops. As you see, we've got just a little bit of blue in the bar now, almost 10% drilled, so they're finally getting to get some measurable bonuses and improvements to their combat ability. Castile is doing the same with their army, probably in preparation for completing the Reconquista in Granada. Okay, what is this? So okay, so basically we can accept this petition, which will piss off the nobility and make us lose prestige, or deny it, in which case a rebellion will break out in Ceuta. I do have a castle there, so it will take them some time to siege it, and it will please the nobility. So we will go ahead and stop the drill so that they can regain their morale and fighting ability, and we'll let some time pass before we deny the petition. I might even try to be sneaky and I'm gonna unmothball my transport fleet and then have them ship my army over to Ceuta so that they're there right as I trigger the rebellion. Needed 2 trips because my army is bigger than my transport fleet can support. There they go. This is their morale. They're about a little over half where they need to be. One more month and I will trigger the rebellion. Okay, so that's kind of unfortunate. That's going to be another rebellion because I don't want to piss off the Pope that much. Well, or do I? Maybe I do, because the clergy like me quite a bit, so losing and the nobility don't. So I think, okay, let's trigger this. They'll easily win that fight. We outnumber them almost 2-1, and we've got a powerful general. They have no general. So, how does the Pope feel about us? Yeah, let's go ahead and do that one and avoid the second. Well, close to max manpower. Nah, we're not going to piss off the Pope. So we'll win that victory. We only lost a few hundred guys, killed their entire army. Great. So we will then... Évora is where the rebellion will happen. So we will move our army back to Évora. Took 2 trips again. There they go. Now this is going to be probably a closer fight. Their general is not bad. They do come with a general this time. They even have more cavalry than us. So, but we outnumber them by 2,000, so we should win. Yeah. So we lost, 4,000 guys. We're gonna have to pay for that replacement out of our manpower pool. And our general gained the Ruthless trait, which makes him do a little bit more damage in the fire phase of combat. So, good for him. We'll send our army back to Lisboa and start them training again. And I think with that, we are going to save the game and call the video. So... Alrighty, so we will pick up there next time, and yeah, hope you enjoyed this introduction to EU4, and we'll probably play a full campaign of this, although that might take several weeks or even a month or 2 to get through. So thank you for liking the video. If you'd like to see more of this content, please like, subscribe, or comment, and thank you much. I hope you all have a wonderful week.